Okay, it's venting time. See, I have this belief, a belief I hold to my core, that the more chances you give a human being to screw something up, the more likely they will. I mean, we are just clumsy beasts. And I saw it again today. Something that just bugs the bleep out of me. A master woodworker. You know, they were showing somebody how to cut a joint. They laid out the line perfectly with a marking gauge. They cut the fibers. They cut a little knife wall, chisel wall, recess, whatever you want to call it. And then when they started sawing it, they sawed off the line because their plan was they would chisel back to it. You are turning a one-step process into a 2 or 3-step process. People, just saw to the line. Seriously, I mean, look at this tool. There are so many different ways that you can make it wander around. It is very difficult to make a perfectly straight line planing with a chisel. Whereas a saw, well, even a flexi saw, like a flush cutting saw, the only thing it wants to do is cut a straight line. So why would you not trust this to cut a straight line? It's all it does. You cut away from the line and then expect your hand skills to be able to balance, to line this thing up, to chop it down perfectly, to get it perfectly straight? Come on, we're human beings. Here, I'm going to tell you something. You know, you go to a kindergarten class, you throw a bunch of crayons out, you give them a little coloring book. Those kids are not going to be able to color in the lines. You'll get big blobs, lines going anywhere. But by the time the kid plays with it a little while and graduates to, I don't know, first grade, they're pretty much capable of coloring within the lines. I promise you, you have the dexterity to color within the lines. And if you can color in the lines, you can saw within the lines. Because it's actually much simpler. It's just a mental block people have that says, oh, if I cut away from the line, I'll have a better chance of chiseling back to it and getting it straight. Come on, where's the logic? Now, I'm sure some of y'all are saying out there that, you know, I just can't do it. I'm telling you, it's a mental block. You are physically capable of sawing to the line. Just take the Nike motto. Do it. Now, if you are sitting there trying to line something up like this, that's kind of like writing with a pencil with a hand at the eraser. It is so much easier to get close to the line if you get close to the line. Use your fingers. These things are two-handed tools. I mean, how easy is it to line something up just moving it around? Grab the board you're working on. Use that as a fence and micro-adjust it over. I mean, you can do that one just by rolling a finger. It'll move it just a fraction of a millimeter, a hundredth of an inch, fairly easily. Saw to the waistline, line it up, and then just move forward. This finger right here will keep it in place. Now, I'm going to give you a tip, a very advanced tip. You ready? If for some reason you start realizing you are sawing off the line, stop. Don't keep going. Readjust and then continue back sawing on the line. It is that simple. Here we are again. You know, you're sawing along and for some reason you realize, hey, I'm off the line. Stop, readjust it back on the line, and continue your sawing. It is that difficult. If you're off the line, stop, readjust, and get back on it. I mean, in all seriousness, the purpose of this tool is to take the human factor out so it doesn't curve off the line. Why would you doubt that purpose and pick up a chisel thinking your two hands can balance everything out and do a better job? I mean, the next time you see a professional woodworker telling you to saw just off the line, you can pare it back, I want you to tell them to... Since we're talking about saws today, I thought I'd introduce you to one of my favorite. It's this flush cutting saw, and it's actually an unbranded saw. Though the only people I know that actually sell it in the States are Lee Valley. It's not a Veritas or Lee Valley one. It's just one that they sell. And this really is one of those situations where you can get probably the best quality tool in its class at a very inexpensive price. This is a flush cutting saw. It's very flexible, though if you are just using it for dovetailing and stuff like that, it would be great for that one because it cuts on the pull stroke so it will remain in tension. And what makes it such a great flush cutting saw is they have taken absolutely all the set out of the teeth and sharpened it for that purpose. I know a lot of flush cutting saws that they're actually flush on one side, but because of the sharpening method, they aren't flush on both sides. Now this one right here, I can take it to a board and cut with it on its side all day long. I can even cut off the little splelching that comes over there. And it doesn't mar the surface at all. But here's the kicker. I flip it over, I can do the same thing. That is so rare. And look at how much I can bend this blade. And that's another key thing is you want to be able to bend it so you can get it into tight places and get it flush. I can do a flush cut right on top of another board where a lot of them don't have this flex, so you actually have to be on the side. The handle itself is made of Binga and it's very nicely done. And this blade is replaceable in case you accidentally break off a tooth or whatever, and it's not that inexpensive to replace. Because of that, I use this not only for cutting off like dowels to flushing them up if you're plugging a screw hole or just cutting off a dowel flush with a thing, but I also know a lot of times when I'm having two boards coming up, you know, you can always plane them even. Well, I'll grab this tool real quick and get the bulk of it off and then just plane it smooth. And if you're doing very, very tight dovetails, really close in, having no set really does give you a tight curve. Though if you're doing big dovetails, having no set means it will bind up on you. But this really is one of those tools that once you put it in your collection, you're going to find yourself reaching for it time and time again. Now once again, it is a unbranded tool, so I will put a link to the exact one I have down below. If you get a chance, pick one up. I mean, you won't regret it.